Meet little Melvin. He's a 90-pound weakling. Everyone hated Melvin.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this mop and shove it down your throat.
They teased him.
I want to do it with you. Okay.
They taunted him. They tormented him until he had a horrifying accident and fell into a vat of nuclear waste, transforming little Melvin into a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength. Melvin became the Toxic Avenger, the first superhero born out of nuclear waste.
Holy shit!
I don't know what it was, but it saved my life.
All right, everybody, drop your tacos or I'll blow your brains out.
The vandals and the perverts had their way with the little people of Tromaville until the Toxic Avenger ripped them apart. The Toxic Avenger. His face is so terrifying. We can't show it to you now. You'll have to see the movie for yourself. The Toxic Avenger can bend steel with his bare hands.
Oh, we're all a kid. Get it?
Leap small cars in a single bound. He crushes drug pushers. Smashes hit-and-run drivers. For incredible, explosive action, you must see the Toxic Avenger. He's a different kind of hero. The Toxic Avenger is coming to your town. Look out.
Hey, gals and guys, it's Christopher Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com and continuing my series of superhero movie reviews, independent superhero movie reviews, in most cases terrible superhero movie reviews. Not in this particular case, and in this particular case. So I'm talking about the Toxic Avenger for this time out, and I initially was going to put this all together in one neat little package, and then I realized that this was going to be way too long, so I'm actually going to separate this into 3 different videos. The first one's going to be for the original Toxic Avenger, and then the 2 sequels, and then the 4th one. So I remember watching the Toxic Avenger when I was a very young kiddo in my teenage years, and I remember enjoying it. I didn't remember a lot about it, and when I rewatched it this past week, I loved it. I mean, it was great. It was funny. It was inappropriate. It was not politically correct. It was gory. It was stupid. There was boobies. And it was just a schlocky B independent movie that hit most of the right beats. You can't sit down and watch these and take these to heart and everything. If you don't get the humor, then you're just... I mean, the humor is... right, it's subjective. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. People get offended by this type of stuff. I don't know why, but anyways, that's not really why I'm getting into this. I'm just trying to make the point that my original point was anyways that I loved it as a kid, and although I didn't remember a lot or any of it really, I remember I enjoyed it, and then when I was watching it this week again, I remember why I enjoyed it, because it was just silly. This is silly. I've seen stupid fucking movies, and I've reviewed the past couple of videos some really stupid, really bad put together superhero movies. So to continue this trend, I am going to look at the Toxic Avenger. I'm going to do a quick review here and tell you what I thought. I mean, I kind of already told you what I thought, right? And then I found all this like trivia stuff online, both on IMDb, which I'm not sure how true all that stuff is. I did a little research just to make sure. And then mostly I got this from the old official Toxic Avenger website, all this like trivia stuff. So I put that together in this first video. Next video is going to be the other 2 movies, the 2 sequels. You can kind of maybe already tell how I feel about those, despite my reaction. And then what I call not my redemption video, the Toxic Avenger redemption video, where number 4 came out, and then everything was okay after that. But I'll explain all 4 movies, get in a little bit of the toys, get a little bit of the animated series, get in a little bit of the comic books. And it's gonna be my own trilogy of the Toxic Avenger. All right, let's get going. Oh, I just fucking nailed my goddamn elbow on the table. Let's get going.
These are some free streaming services where you can watch movies and shows. So there's a fucking commercial here and there. You're looking at your phone half the time anyways. This is where you can put your thoughts and comments if you wish. I also have the links down in the description of each movie I talk about. This is the Vudu logo because this is the place I watch all this shit, at least for now. This is where I watch the Toxic Avengers films. This is a picture of Ponch and John just because, why not? This is a picture of my buddy Jeff with Ponch and John from this weekend's Niagara Falls, Canada comic book convention. The Toxic Avenger is a 1984 American superhero black comedy splatter film directed by Michael Herz and Lloyd Kaufman and written by Kaufman and Joe Ritter. It is the first installment of the Toxic Avenger franchise. The film was released by Troma Entertainment, known for producing low-budget B-movies with campy concepts and gruesome violence. Virtually ignored upon its first release, the Toxic Avenger caught on with filmgoers after a long and successful midnight movie engagement at the Bleecker Street Cinema in Greenwich Village in late 1985. It is now regarded as a cult classic. The film has generated a media franchise including 3 film sequels, a stage musical production, a video game, and a children's TV cartoon. 2 less successful sequels, The Toxic Avenger Part 2 and The Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie, were filmed as one, and I'll talk about that in a separate video. They're pretty terrible. Director Lloyd Kaufman realized that he had shot far too much footage for one film and re-edited it into 2. A third independent sequel was also released titled Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4, or the Redemption movie as I call it. An animated children's TV series spin-off, Toxic Crusaders, featured Toxie as the leader of a team of mutated superheroes who fought against evil alien polluters. The cartoon series lasted 1 season. New Line Cinema had planned a live-action film based on the cartoon, but the project was never produced. Melvin Ferdjenko III is a 98-pound weakling who works as a janitor at a health club in fictional town of Tromaville, New Jersey, where the customers, particularly Bozo, Slug, Wanda, and Julie, harass him constantly. His tormentors become more violent, even deliberately killing a young boy on a bike with their car and taking photos of the carnage afterwards. One day they trick Melvin into wearing a pink tutu and enormously hugging a sheep. He is chased around the health club and out a second-story window. He falls into a drum of toxic waste, which sets him on fire. After running down the street in a ball of flames, Melvin douses the flames in his bathtub. The chemicals cause him to transform into a hideously deformed mutant, but he is also gifted with superhuman size and strength. Principal photography for the Toxic Avenger took place at various locations in New Jersey, including Jersey City, Boonton, Paramus, Harrison, Rutherford during the summer of 1983. Filming also took place in Depew Park and several surrounding streets in Peekskill, New York. Filming was later reported to be completed in 1983. So let's look at some fun facts from the very old official websites. Go here to read them all. Here's the links right here, and then I will put them down in the description. I just pulled 20 of them out of my butt I found interesting in no particular order. The film's budget was $500,000. This was the first movie to be set in Tromaville. The violent-looking crushing of a child's head in the movie was accomplished by injecting a melon with corn syrup and red food dye. A wig was placed on the melon and it was fitted onto a dummy. Though cheap, the effect is highly unsettling. The head-crushing scene was based on a time when Lloyd Kaufman was backing a car out of his garage and accidentally hit his younger sister. Yikes. Nobody was harmed, but the memory haunted him for years. DJ Calvito, who plays the boy who gets his head crushed by the car, was chosen because he resembled the stuntman. The hit-and-run point system was based on a New York Post article about some real hit-and-run drivers who had a point system set up for different types of people to run over. So trauma isn't as far from reality as most would like to believe. Who thinks up this shit? Future Oscar winner Marissa Tomei as an extra. Supposedly this is her in the towel, although it doesn't look much like her. Supposedly Marissa can be seen briefly in this scene in a pink and blue striped bikini before Melvin jumps out the window. I freeze framed through the entire scene and didn't see any girl in a pink and blue striped bikini. You'd think someone on the internet would have taken a screenshot, but I couldn't find one. According to Mitch Cohen, during filming the scenes fighting Cigarface and his gang in Shinbone Alley, a homeless man walked up to him and offered him a drink, believing him to be a genuine homeless burn victim. Also rumored is while shooting in Shinbone Alley, a homeless man stole a prop gun from one of the trailers and threatened the crew. According to IMDb, Patrick Kilpatrick, who played Leroy, the face-painted criminal at the Mexican restaurant, quit the film after having to point a shotgun at a baby. I'm not sure how true this is, as I read through interviews with Kilpatrick, and not once did he mention this when talking about the Toxic Avenger. Although he did think about the movie that it was the worst film in Western civilization while doing it, and had no idea it was going to become such a cult film. Nor does it indicate he quit production, so I'm not sure how true that is. Leroy, the face-painted gunman in the Mexican restaurant, has the same tattoo as Dr. Frank Furter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, another cult film villain. The only hate mail to this day that Troma has received about this movie is about that guide dog that gets shot and killed in the restaurant scene. The scene was done by a man who trained his dog to be thrown across a newly waxed floor, and the dog loved the trick and would do it all day if he could. The dog gore guts was just spaghetti covered in gray paint. Granted, it's not the best visual in the world to watch, and for someone who loves dogs, I get the hate mail, but it was all fake, guys and girls. Larry Sutton, who played Frank, only had one arm. During the scene at the Mexican restaurant, one can see his right arm is prosthetic. He never moves or uses it until Toxie rips it off. The location used for the Mexican restaurant is now a Popeyes Louisiana kitchen in Rutherford, New Jersey. The Mexican restaurant was actually called the Mexican Place, just like it was in the movie, but yet the restaurant had samurai swords on the wall. During pre-production, Vincent D'Onofrio, sorry if I mispronounced your name there, was set to play the role of Bozo. Prior to filming, D'Onofrio, sorry dude, asked for a slight raise and was instead fired from the movie and replaced by Gary Schneider. You'll know him from the Men in Black and then also the Kingpin in the Netflix Daredevil series. During the car wreck scene, the stunt car was rigged to allow the vehicle to drive straight with the gas pedal to the floor. The roll bar installed in the car, however, was wrecked when the car was falling off the cliff, and it almost killed the stunt driver who was driving the vehicle. According to Mark Torgel, in the Apocalypse Soon documentary, the cast and crew mostly ate Jarrisburg cheese sandwiches 3 times a day. By the end of the shoot, everyone was getting tired of this so-called diet, so the crew put the cheese to waste by throwing the leftover 5 to 6 loads off a mountain. Though Kaufman never thought of making a sequel, why at the Cannes, a German producer asked if the rumors were true about a Toxic Avenger 2 and wanted to buy the rights for distribution in Germany. They lied and said it was already in production and got quite a nice advance. Currently, there are 3 sequels to the Toxic Avenger. He went on to make these 2 pieces of shit, but that's a whole other video. I'm warning you now, the 2 follow-up sequels are fucking terrible. But Troma redeemed themselves with a 4th film and wisely dismissed the 2 and 3 from canon. I'll discuss the 4th film in a separate video as well. It's awesome. Despite the R rating, the film spawned a Saturday morning cartoon called Toxic Crusaders in 1991, which played 96% of US markets. Toxic Crusaders is a 1991 animated series aimed at children loosely based on the Toxic Avenger films. It features Toxie from the film leading a group of misfit superheroes such as No Zone, Major Disaster, Headbanger, and Junkyard who combat pollution. Over 100 companies had rights to Toxic Crusaders merchandise, including video games for Sega and Nintendo. Check out Ed's Retro Geek to learn about his large collection of Toxic Crusader merchandise. You can also check out Angry Video Game Nerd as Lloyd Kaufman and the Geek play some Toxic Crusader games. Both awesome channels, and both links down in the description. And finally, number 20, the sheep Melvin was kissing was infested with lice and other nasty critters, which he found out after the shoot. Double yikes.
And that's it for that, gals and guys. I'm going to put my elbows over here so I don't slam them into the desk again. And this is part 1 for my Toxic Avenger quadruplegy. Is it quadruplegy? Not a trilogy, but a quadruplegy. Something like that. obviously, I really love this movie. It's funny. It's good. I like it a lot. So I would highly recommend it. If you're easily offended, I don't know. Go watch The Waltons. I don't know what to tell you. So I got 2 other parts coming out as I promised, and the next one will be for the second and third film, and then part 3 for the last film. So if you like this, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. And certainly share with your fellow superhero, schlocky movie fans, or Toxic Avenger fans. And please thumbs up if you liked it. Did I say that already? I got a short attention span. And then share, and then hit the bell. Hit the bell for updates. I think I'm just getting tired, guys and gals. Thank you as always. I appreciate you as always, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's my Spider-Man. Wrong superhero.